Hi, my name is Gudrun from GE Designs. Welcome to my live quilting chat, Tipsy Tuesday. Hi, everybody! An extra big thank you for you for being here with me tonight. Of course, this is election night in America, and I know a lot of you are going to be glued to the television. So I really appreciate it that you took a little time to enjoy the night with some quilting fun, and we're going to have fun tonight. Believe me. So whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, welcome, welcome. Tonight's show, we're going to go through the last 5 quilts that are in the new book, get to know them a little bit better. And then, of course, I'm going to give you the next steps in our Strippin on the Side little challenge, little scrap challenge. Now, of course, as I mentioned before, I'm giving you the next steps, but you might be taking it slower, so don't worry. You can always go back to the videos. All right, of course, I will try and answer all your questions live as we can get to it, but we're going to have some fun. I told you we would have our own election tonight, and we are going to. So I have picked patterns that we're going to match up against each other, and you will get to vote for the best quilt. How fun will that be? So stick with us. Also, another reason to stick with us, we have a giveaway every single show. 2 winners win every single show. We pull a live winner from your comments. So the more you comment, the better your chances are to win. And of course, we encourage you to use those thumbs up and the hearts. Give us the hearts, please. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching from there. If you're on Facebook, make sure to like our page and sign up for notifications, and you'll never miss a show. Of course, if you're on Facebook as well, make sure you join our group, Gudrun's Quilt Crew. All right, so from our last week's show, we have a winner. I had asked you a question: which pre-cut do you like to work with the most? And our winner is Carol Frank Goss. So Carol, congratulations. You've won a $25 gift card. We will try and get a hold of you. If you see this, please email me or send us a message if you're on Facebook, and we will get that card to you as soon as possible so you can go shopping. Now, let's go. I wanted to start right off with checking into some quilts, but I wanted to send an extra special thank you to everybody for all of your great well wishes and condolences. I lost my grandmother last weekend. I spoke a little bit about it on Friday, and she passed on Saturday. And so in honor of her and RBG, I'm wearing my pearls tonight. It was a gift from her. And so she was very much a female power kind of gal, which I carry with me. So that is in her honor. And so let's kick it right into looking at some more quilts from the book. There's 5 more that I haven't shown you. We talked about 4 last show and the 4 before that, the week before that. So first up, let's put up the cover. Do we have the cover of the book? Probably not, huh? I forgot to add that to the file. Okay, so this is our brand new book, Stripology Mixology 2, that is at the printer right now. Any minute now, we're hoping to get a shipping notification. We're waiting on pins and needles just like you. But in the book, Stripology Mixology 2 is the same concept as the first book. There are quilts in there using all the different pre-cuts, 1.5 and 2.5 inch strips, and then 5 and 10 inch squares. Plus, you get 13 cocktail recipes as well. So the first one we're going to talk about tonight is actually the cover girl. The cover girl is Wanda. This one is a really, really fun quilt to make. And she's pretty, isn't she? And she became a cover girl because we literally plopped this quilt on this bench. It already had a few pumpkins on it. We threw a couple of more, and we snapped the photo. That's how easy she was to photograph. So very photogenic. And so that's why she's a cover girl. I guess that comes with being a cover girl, is being photogenic. Better ask all these models. But what is Wanda? Wanda is made with 5 inch squares, but you would think that you'd be trimming a lot off, and there's a lot of waste. There's no waste, only a little bit of a trim. And so I really wanted to show off that plaid sashing, and I wanted it to really shine. So I did kind of something different that you don't normally see. I carried that sashing to extend the blocks on the outside of the quilt, and then didn't border it for that reason. So I just thought it gave it a little different tone, and it's kind of like with the sashing blocks in the sashing post, it looks like it's kind of woven with that white background fabric. So I really love her. I really had fun making her, and I definitely will be making another one. 5-inch squares, and then you just need yardage for that sashing, that plaid, and then that background. And she's pretty. Look at how pretty she looks just on a front porch. Just so photogenic. Now you can use for the 9 patches, the wonky 9 patches. I used basically just 2 colors, just kind of an orange and then grayish blacks. They're still scrappy, but I always alternated those. You can do it that way with just 2 colors, but you can also make each 9 patch very scrappy, and it turns out good. And either way, you can do it. So let's move on to the next quilt. I don't have an up-close picture of Wanda for you because Wanda is still hanging up at the GE headquarters, and I forgot to take her down. So sorry about that. I will show it to you up close later. But Harmony 2 is next up. Harmony 2, would you believe that Harmony 2 came before Harmony? the sew-along Harmony? Well, I first made this one, and this one is made with 1.5-inch strips. So the blocks are smaller, and they are addictive to make because they are just so cute. I really love the impact of lots of blocks. So I had a hard time stopping making blocks, but I just love how it comes together. It's just so cool. Very simple, exact same process as the 2.5-inch version, which is a single pattern. But it's I just loved using that kind of a charcoal background with all of my scrappy 1.5-inch strips. Very, very fun. All right, so next one up is Honey. Honey is named Honey because it was the only name that popped in my head because she's made with bee and honey fabrics. So it was just kind of perfect.
Wasn't about me.
He of course that kind of added to the fact that it should be called Honey. So of course it is named after Mr. Honey Producer.
You're trying, but it's not.
There are a couple of ways to make this quilt. So I made it really scrappy. So for this version, I used all of the different honey fabrics in the lights and the yellows and the grays. And then I chose the accent and border fabric. I chose this charcoaly black. It's actually the Circle Burst. And it was just a perfect accent. Makes all those little squares stand out. And I can't forget to mention that all of Julie's honey and beekeeper little trinkets were the perfect props. So Julie, as maybe some of you know, works for me, and she pulls some of your orders, prints out their orders, and she does a great job on that. But she's also a beekeeper, and so she has some really cool things. So thank you, Julie. I did make a second colorway of this quilt. It's still at the quilter, but I will show you. I made it out of Daybreak because there is a way of doing a little bit more controlled colorway and adding a little extra impact, which is described in the book. But I'm not going to talk about it until we have the other quilt to really explain it to you. All right. So next up is Jackie. Jackie is also made with 2.5-inch strips, just like Honey. And Jackie it's really an impact for block. You would think it is really hard, but it's absolutely not. What is really helpful for this one is to have the Stripology mini ruler to square up and make everything fit together nicely. And so one strip makes one block, and I used Stratosphere strips for my blocks, and it's really fun to use that or like an ombre because it gives each block that tonal difference. Can you see the difference in just the different tones of the strip versus if it was just a full one color? So that's what I really loved about using that fabric, because the block is so impactful, but it just has all that depth with the different shades within each strip. So any kind of ombre would be really cool with this quilt. All right, Jackie, next up, last but not least, we have to talk about the bike. The bike. So Miss Amy has this bike from her childhood. It's the bike that I begged for, a banana seat bike I never got. And when she told me she had one in her garage since she was a kid, we had to include it. And it was just a perfect fit with Jackie and with the softball bat and ball and glove that Amy also had. And we took it on the softball field or baseball field. I didn't play baseball or softball because we don't do that in Iceland. But Amy did, didn't you? Amy's with us tonight, so say hi. We have live studio audience. Amy and Kobe are in the audience tonight. Okay, last but not least is Angler's Choice. This quilt is an old favorite. So it was first published in my book called Strip On. And I have always loved it. I love the impact of it. I always wanted to make a second colorway. And so I thought it was a perfect one to bring into this book. And I rewrote the pattern for the different methods of putting the blocks together. And then I also added some size options from the original. And so the strips in this one are pretty much a mix from my stash. And I went with kind of a color theme so that I can pick this amazing background, which is a background called Rainbow Shimmer, and it's the indigo colorway. And I have it, so I have the quilt right here, so we can show it up close in the overhead. But I just really love it. It's super fun. And so a great way to kind of use a lot of different colors for your strips. But look at how much depth and kind of, I love the sparkle in this. So it's gold metallic, but I love how it's irregular. So it's not a regular pattern. Just makes it so much fun and a lot of movement. And I don't know if you can see the quilting. Amazing quilting done by Cars Quilting. Just excellent. I have the other colorway that I made from the original book. Can we put that one up on the screen? The second English choice. There it is. So there it is shown, of course, on the lake with the tackle box and the fishing rod. So it's a really great one. It looks kind of masculine, but I used florals in mine in my other version. So this one is done with batiks. But really great. So throw me any questions you have on these quilts. I would love to hear them. Remember I promised you I forgot the Trixie quilt from last week because I really wanted to show you up close because the quilting on it is pretty awesome. Also done by Cars Quilting. And so check it out. This is Trixie. I introduced you to her last week, but I don't know if you can see different quilting design in the triangles, and then I love these waves coming down here in the other part of the block. So really a cool job done by Carrie and Kim at Cars. Thank you so much. All right, do we have any questions on the quilts? Just commenting. That's awesome. Oh, they have banana seat bikes. I never got one. And a friend of mine had one back in Iceland. Yes, we did have them, but oh, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all. Okay, so if you don't have any more questions, I thought we would move right into the stripping on the side demo because we want to get to this fun part of the election. You can use a jelly roll for Jackie. So all the blocks, it's a fairly background heavy quilt, so it's hanging right behind me. Jackie's right behind me. And so as you can see, there's a lot of background. So I see she's dropping a little bit. She's drooping. I hope she doesn't fall. But there's a lot of background. So 2.5-inch strips, like I said, 1 strip per block. So you wouldn't use up the whole jelly roll, but you could use parts of it, of course. Honey is also made with 2.5-inch strips. She's in the corner. I don't know if you can see her. But she's 2.5-inch strips, and then you just need that accent fabric. So she's really all strips, and then just that accent fabric, which is the black, which carries out to the border, or you can do a different border, whatever you want. And then we have spinning daisies hanging on the side here, also in the book, and one of the challenge quilts. All right, so the book is, of course, available to pre-order right now if you haven't done so, both in printed form and as an ebook. And as a little bonus, if you order it in the pre-sale, you get the Spinning Daisies pattern right away. You get that as a PDF instant download. And then you also, if you order the printed book now, you will get a autographed copy when we get it in stock, and we will ship it. All right, so moving on to our stripping on the side, right? Should we put up the fun picture? Stripping on the side. our 2020 scrap challenge. So we're going to go through all of the pattern options. I know some of you are still maybe just making strip sets as your leaders and enders. Are kind of sewing it on the side from other stuff. And last week I told you that one of the patterns is so simple. It's just sewing 2 strips together and then you cut out the blocks. So for the Stripolash, that's all you do. You cut out the blocks. And so I did that. I showed you how to do that. I showed you the hexagon. If you have the Stripology XL ruler, you can, instead of using a 60-degree ruler, you can use the XL to cut your half hexagons. So we have that done here. And the one thing I failed to show you, because I didn't have my point trimmers, is how you can trim the corners off of all of these to make them fit together really, really nicely. So all you do is use the 60-degree trimmer of the point trimmers. You put them on the 2 corners of the blocks. And I'm just going to show you 2 here, because this quilt is, like I said, is so easy, but it doesn't look like it's so easy, because every time you look at hexagon, you're like, oh, that's going to be a lot of trouble, especially if they're pieced. But this one is piece of cake. So let me show you. I have the small quilt right here. I'll turn it this way. So this is just the mini quilt, but you can make a runner, you can make a bigger quilt, just depending on however many blocks you end up with. So the blocks end up like this. And so to make them into a hexagon, we're actually going to start assembling the quilts, which comes together in rows. Now, if you have the 60-degree triangle ruler, you would need to cut these little starter triangles. But what I do when I am using the XL ruler, I will cut my half hexagons, and you know the end pieces are always going to be throwaways. I actually use those in these little spaces, and then I just trim once all of my strips are together, all of my rows are together. But so here's how this goes. You're going to be assembling rows of half hexagons. So what you need to do is lay out your whole quilt first, because you're going to lay it out. And so you're laying out this row, and you have a gray and a green and a gray and a green. But then you need to match up. If you're going to do it color block like this is going to be in this row. So you want to match these up for the other row to create that fully gray hexagon. So then here would be pink. And then in the next row, you'd put pink on this side. Do you know what I'm saying? So very simple. And then once you're ready to sew the whole row together, so let's pretend this one is green. When you're ready to sew the whole row together, you flip these over, and then they fit together perfectly because you trimmed the corners off, and they will be flat with the sides here. So you don't need to guess anything how much that tip needs to stand out. You just sew, and they will fit together perfectly and land perfectly together. Very, very simple, and the trimmers make it so much easier. All right, so moving on to the next one, and that is going to be our strip search. No, actually Rainbow Ruth. So Rainbow Ruth, let's put Rainbow Ruth up. We have the photo. So that's pretty much it for Rainbow Ruth. What I showed you last show, I showed you to finish the strip sets with 5 strips, and then the strip sets with 3 strips. And then all you do is subcut those strip units into the blocks according to the pattern, which you can download for free. It's called Scrap Junkie on my website under free patterns. But it's also in the Stripology Mixology book, if you have the first Mixology book. So then you can arrange it 3 ways. So we'll put up, you can do Sashing Sue, which is this version. So if you have just not a whole lot of blocks, you can put it in, and I just alternated block 1 and 2 with a sashing in between. So this one, if you have just a random, selection of blocks, not a whole lot of same color blocks, this is a great way to do it. And even the sashing is scrappy. So then if you have maybe more of the same colors, you could do something like a 4-patch Fran. So you would make a 4-patch out of 2 blocks from each, block 1 and 2 of the block 2 from the same colorway. So you kind of color block them together into a 4-patch, and then you add the sashing in between. And then, of course, we have the full-on Rainbow Ruth version that we saw in the beginning, which is just laying them out, alternating the blocks, the different blocks, but then color blocking it so you can create any kind of wave with whatever, just having fun laying it out like that. So that's all the magic for Rainbow Ruth. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is strip search. So strip search, we mentioned that last show we are going to finish our strip set. So you have a strip set of 5 and then you have a strip set of 6. So I have them here on my mat. So you're going to subcut these, and the strip set of 6, you're going to use up the full strip because just the measurement of the blocks. And then when you do the strip set of 5, you're going to have a little bit of leftover. So you'll be getting 3 out of each. So let me show you here. So I have 3 of the bigger squares and 3 of the smaller. If you want to, right away, and I like to do that when I'm subcutting and have leftover to make use of that right away as I'm cutting, you can cut these leftovers into the width of a Rainbow Ruth block. So then you can have a few blocks already started for the next one. Just an idea. You know, I like to give you ideas to using up those little leftovers. But this is what you're going to use for strip search. You have the 2 size blocks. What you want to do now, once you have all your strip sets subcut, is you want to split them into 2 groups because we're going to be making 2 different blocks for the strip search quilt. So what you want to do is pair up a large square and a small square. That's a pair. They go together. They make 1 block. You're going to put this into group 1 and this pair into group 2, and then keep going this way until you've paired up all your sets like this. And so you want to have even number in each group, all right? Because these are going to be 2 blocks that are going to need to alternate. So you're going to want to do that. So that's all I want you to do for now. Subcut, pair them up, split them up, all right? So then next week I can show you how we cut them apart and assemble the actual block. All right, that was strip search. So next one is spinning daisies. Spinning daisies. Now it's time to include our background fabric. So your background fabric, you obviously use it for the background, but I used it also for the middle of my daisies. You can use a different color for the middle of your daisies too, if you want to. But we're going to start with these squares, the background squares. We had our strip sets all cut down. So subcut our strip sets into these units. And so now what we want to do is we're going to do a folded corner like this on 2 opposite corners. Only 2. And we want to make sure they're turned the right way. So you want to turn it so the strips are running horizontal. And then we take 2 of the background squares, and this is hard to see which side, and we're going to just lay them on each corner. And there's many different ways of doing a folded corner. So you can use a ruler and draw a diagonal line corner to corner. You can sew on the line and trim and press. I actually like to use my trimmers, or you can use, if you have Doug's folded corner ruler. But this one works really great, so I just put this one. This is the 45-degree trimmer. So you want this blunt edge on the edge of this square and also along this edge of the square. And then I'm just going to trim this off. So trim this off like this, and I will do the other side. And you can pin it after you trim it. What you really are doing is using that diagonal line here to go from corner to corner, because then you're adding a quarter, you're adding the seam allowance, but it's really nice to be able to be even with this side and this side, and then you'll notice that the dotted line will land right on that corner. You trim that off. So then you can just use your sewing machine and just sew your scant 1/4 inch seam and then press outwards, and you've got your folded corners. So that's what I want you to do with all of your strip units that you've subcut. Plus, we're not only going to do that, but we're also going to use the rectangles from the background, and we're going to add a rectangle to just one side, just like that. So we have these units. So you're going to do this to all of your units. Folded corners, and then add the rectangle. All right, so that is it for spinning daisies for now. And then I'm gonna show you more about that once we get to next week, where we're gonna take this one. Fun, I used those little strip sets that I found for this demo. And then we're gonna talk about strip off. Strip off is, there it is. So that's where you color blocked 5 strips together. You're gonna subcut those. Here I have my little mini strip off. You're gonna subcut those into the squares like I showed you. I subcut this one already. So then from here, we're gonna do folded corners on these blocks too. Just exactly the same way I showed you with spinning daisies. We're gonna do it on all 4 corners with a background fabric, which can be scrappy, of course. And then you can use whatever method you want. You can draw a line and sew on it, or you can just trim off and then sew and press. So, which either way. So that is the next step for strip off. Subcut your strip sets and sew folded corners on all 4 sides. All right. Isn't this cute? So cute. Love the binding. It's my favorite part. All right. So the next one up is Strip Ahoy. Strip Ahoy is last but not least. So Strip Ahoy, last week I told you to sew your little 4 patches, and then you were also that was from your sets of 2 strip sets, and then I also told you to finish some of your strip sets into sets of 4, and then you're going to subcut those into these units like that. So then we're going to be making the 2 different blocks. So we're going to now include the background fabric. So here I'm using a singular background fabric. Here, as you can see, it's scrappy. So I just use light fabrics, but all scrappy. So you're going to take the 4 patches and you're just going to border them with the background. We have 2 rectangles that we sew on, and then we have longer rectangles on the other side. So we're going to end up here. All right. And that's going to wait until next week, because next week we're going to use our random 1.5 inch squares that I told you to cut from your leftovers. These guys, you're going to sew another background rectangle between 2 different, I try to mix them up. I don't put the same fabrics. So 2 different sets of the subcut strip set like this. And that's going to be your block 2. Or block B. I don't remember if I called it 2 or B. So that's this block right here. This one will become this, but we have to add the folded corners on as well. So we're going to have these done by next week if you want to follow along. But of course, I understand if you're taking more time. And then we'll finish it off next week. So that was Strip Ahoy. Now, if you were making the bob and weave using 1.5 inch strips, I would just say everything is the same as doing the 2.5 inch strips. It's just the difference of adding your, 2 1.5 inch strips make a 2.5 inch strip. So it's just going to be a strip set of 6. Subcut it just like you would the 2.5 inch strip sets and follow the same directions in the book. All right, so questions. I know it's a lot to go through all of it at the same time, but I just recommend break it down. If you missed our last one, all the details are on the blog, even like where to find specific instruction on the quilt that you want to make from it. But just know these are just little tips and hints, and then you can always go back to them. Rewind and go back. Is the mini strip off in the book too? No, so the mini strip off is in the first Stripology book. Strip off and strip search are in this one. And then strip lash and strip ahoy are in the Stripology 2 book. So those 2, the spinning daisies is the one that is you will get as an instant download when you pre-order the mixology book. The Rainbow Ruth is a free one that you can download from the website. I'm saving 1.5 inch half square triangles. Have over 1,000 already. Oh boy. So if you have 1,000, 1.5 inch half square triangles. That would be overwhelming for me. But that's a great little project to start piecing together as a leader ender on the side type of thing. So find a fun block or even just sew them together. Love a quilt with all half square triangles. Go for it. All right. Did we have a question on the trimmers? The point trimmers? Yeah, so the trimmers come in a pack of 3. So there's the 60 degree that I use for the strip lash, the 45 degree that I use to trim off corners, and then we have also 120 degree trimmer. So that's how they come. Would glow sticks pattern work? Glow sticks, oh, that's a table runner. So you would always need a background. So I'm not sure. You would have to have the background strips all cut up to go with it. And you would need kind of a longer strip. But of course, if you have 1.5 inch strip scraps, you could totally make that runner. Just add a background and that's it. Yeah, definitely. All right. And that one is also done a quilt as you go. So does not work well as a leader ender. I wouldn't recommend that. I keep wondering if I need the XL ruler. I have the other 3. All right, keep wondering, Sharon. I wouldn't say need. It's more like a want. You can get by. The only thing that the XL has, of course, that you don't have with the other 3 is being able to cut those hexagons. So half hexagons. And yeah, so that or 60 degree triangles. So that would be the other thing because it has the 2 lines, 2 diagonal lines. All right, are we ready to move on to the fun part? I am so excited. I cannot wait. But of course, I will try and answer questions. I'm just too excited. So any more questions, do you think?
So many choices.
So many choices. So much fun. Yeah.
Point trimmers work for any other.
Point trimmers work for a lot of patterns. And so I, of course, any patterns that have come out since I designed them, I include the instructions to use them. So a lot of quilts for the new book. For example, Angler's Choice. Oh, where is it? That I showed you earlier. Anything with folded corners like the spinning daisies, they work great for that. So, and I show that in the book. Harmony. So I show that in the book how to use that. Or if you don't have them, you can use whatever method you want. If I only get one Stripology ruler, which one do you recommend? Well, the XL kind of does it all. You have the squaring up lines, like the squared ruler, and then you have all the size to kind of cut any kind of yardage. So I would say you get the biggest bang for your buck with that. So that one, and if you were to add a second one, I would probably add the mini and then the squared. But if you only had one, I would say the XL will give you the best use for sure. Could you Tipsy Tuesday on the point trimmers? There's a whole video on the point trimmers. So already, so go to gequiltdesigns.com under videos, tutorials, and there's a video on the point trimmers, how to use them. And I've used them like in the Harmony to show you how to use that. We used them in the strip to shore when we were doing that. Elvira, we used them in all of those sew-alongs. So there's lots of videos on using them. All right. Let's move on. I'm so excited about this. So let me give you a little intro. So we'll first put up the little banner. We need the election music. Is there election music? That would have been so much fun. So this is the official GE Designs election for the best quilt. Now, of course, I have chosen 8 quilts that are favorites among quilters, quilt shops, and my distributors. So we, of course, used a little bit of data for that selection, but, of course, with a little bit of personal preference. So, yeah, there's bias in this election right off the top. So we are also doing this. We're going to do it bracket style. So we've paired up 2 quilts. So then you get to vote. So we'll put up 2 quilts at a time, and they will have numbers on them. I'll talk about them a little bit, but you'll have about a minute to vote which one you like. So you have to make a choice. And the way you vote in your comments, you just put the number, either the number 1 or the 2 or whatever number you like. You pop that in the comments and hit send because we need those comments. So that's how you vote. and that's how we count. Okay, so it's about a minute that you have from the time you see it. So now I should say, unlike the election taking place in America today, this one, we will probably not count every vote. Just telling you. And we will not wait for all the votes to come in. It's just saying that right off the bat. The counting and the results are all done and verified by the accounting firm, or the counting firm of Amy B. She is gonna watch the comments and count, kind of, sort of. And so she did tell me that she does take bribes. She likes foodie meals, travel, and pastries for breakfast. Just kidding. You don't have to send her bribes. This will be over with very quick, but it's all for fun. Oh, you're taking bribes? You're not even counting.
I'll put up the one that I think.
Oh, he's going to rig the election even worse. Oh boy, we're in for a fun night. But of course, all the fun, it's just for fun. So are we ready to go? Are we ready for the GE Quilt Election? All right. Okay, let's go. We'll start off the two pairing up. The first two are my Aurora quilt and Nova. So now you can vote 1 for Aurora or 2 for Nova. Now, of course, the Aurora is inspired by the Icelandic Northern Lights. I know you have Northern Lights in other places, but there's nowhere better than to see them in Iceland. And so this one is in my Quilts of Iceland book, made with fat quarters. And then we have Nova, both kind of celestial. So Nova is made with 10-inch squares, and great to have the Stripology squared ruler or the XL ruler. And so that one is an individual pattern. So make your choice. Which one do you like? Number 1 or number 2? That's the only thing you have to do. Put a number 1 or put a number 2. And you got to do it quickly because the counting firm is only going to count for about a minute or two. All right? So we're going to give you a few more minutes. I can't really say which one is my favorite because I love them both. I can't even tell you there's not a bias because I've only made one of each. Wait, no, I made 2 Novas. Sorry. So there's that. I made 1.5 Aurora. I've got all the blocks for a second one, but that doesn't really count, does it? All right. Let's go up. Are you ready for the next round? Mr. Honey Producer, you ready for the next round? Round 2, the next 2 pair up is, let's see. All right, come on. Kira and Stella. Okay, number 3 for Kira, number 4 for Stella. So Kira, those are both made with 10-inch squares. Very easy, both of them. They don't look super easy. Stella is probably a little bit faster. I've made 2 Stellas, at least. Maybe I made 3, I don't remember. And then Kira, I've made at least 2. No, I've made 3. So that's really even for me. So that's a tough one. They're both very popular. Kira is a single pattern, and Stella is in my first mixology book, Stripology Mixology. And so both very popular, both really quick, and loved by quilters everywhere. And I think many have made more than one. So you have just a few more seconds to add the number 3 or the number 4 in the comments. And that will conclude round 2 of the quilt election. All right, so round 3 is coming up. Lupin and Strippy Forest. No, that's a tough one. They're both kind of very, I would say, impactful, very graphic. So Lupin is made with fat quarters and is in my Iceland book, of course, inspired by all the lupins in Iceland. And then Strippy Forest is in my mixology book using 1.5-inch strips and of course, just trees. I thought that was very fitting to have it in here. It's also a very, very popular pattern. So that's a tough one. I don't know if I would go with Strippy Forest just because, you know, the holiday season is coming upon us, or if I'd go with Lupin because it really reminds me of home. I don't know. So that's a tough one. 5 or 6. That's what you need to put in the comments. Either a number 5 or a number 6 for just a few more seconds. And that will conclude round 3. All right. How you doing, counters over there?
Oh, it's great.
It's great. Okay, good. All right. So we're moving on to round 4. Round 4. Round 4. It is going to be bob and weave. Here's the battle of the strip patterns. Bob and weave and strip stacks. Okay, strip stacks has been around for a long time. First came out, I believe, 12 years ago, at least. 12, yeah, I would think 12 years ago. Bob and weave was in my Strip Your Stash book. Like I said, both use 2.5-inch strips. Both use a little bit of background. Both are very simple to make, but have a really graphic look. You can make them look pretty, kind of modern, or you can take a more traditional route. Either way, they are always cool. They're both really fun to make. So, is it going to be a number 7 for you, or is it going to be a number 8? That's up to you. You have a few more seconds to lock in your vote. You have a few more seconds to add your vote, and all you got to do is put a number in that comment and push it through. So that is all of the 8 quilts that are participating in our election tonight. So now, based upon your votes and the very accurate counting of your votes, we are going to be moving into the semifinals. So who is going to be in the semifinals? That's an interesting prospect. So the winner from round 1 and the winner from round 2 are going to battle it out in that's going to be called round 5. And then in round 6, it's going to be the winner from round 3 and from round 4 that battle it out. So, Mr. Honey, whenever you're ready, we're going to kick off our round 5, the first round of the semifinals. Oh, Aurora and Kira. Who's it gonna be? We have Aurora, number 1, or we have Akira, number 3. Wow. So this is gonna be tough. This is gonna be a hard one, people. Like I said, accurate counting, not so much, but so you gotta pop that number in real quickly. Number 1 or a number 3? I don't know if I can make up my mind on these two. They're both super fun to make and easy. Believe it or not, easy. All right, so put in there a 1 or a 3. And somebody asked if this election was certified. It is absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not certified. Very far from it. We are just having fun. All right, certifiable fun. Yes, absolutely. So this is our semi. Which one of these is going to make it into the final? It's either going to be Aurora or it's going to be Kira. Do you think I would have a future as a like a host of a? Okay. All right. Well, you're not fast enough. Are you ready with the round 6, the other semifinalists? Are you ready? Strippy Forest and Bob and Weave actually didn't surprise me much, but, well, Strippy Forest kind of, sort of. Well, no. Okay, Strippy Forest, number 6, or Bob and Weave, number 7. Put either a 6 or a 7, and either Strippy Forest or Bob and Weave, both strip quilts, one with 2.5 and one with 1.5. This is awesome. In the semifinals, we had a fat quarter quilt, we had a 10-inch square quilt, a 2.5-inch strip quilt, and a 1.5-inch strip quilt. Awesome. This is great representation. Really, really great. We are representing all the different pre-cuts. So a very diverse election, people. Very diverse. Okay. Do we have all the votes in? Have you added your votes? A 6 or a 7? Well, this is going to be fun to see which one of these two is going to make it up against either Kira or Aurora. So, as the counters are working hard,
This is difficult.
This is difficult. Who is going to be in the final? The final round, the round 7 is coming right up. And whenever they are ready to put in, we should have like at the races, the little, do you know somebody that plays the trumpet or something? Is it a trumpet that they play at the races? A bugle? Do you know somebody? You know some.
You just did a great one.
Oh, okay. I don't think so, but maybe I need one of those kazoos. I need a kazoo. Okay. All right. Ready for the final. Here's the final. People, vote for your favorite. Ooh, it's Kira and Strippy Forest. Kira or Strippy Forest, who's it going to be? Who's going to be the winner of the most popular G Designs quilt for the 2020 election? Now, I think I have to say it's just my own bias, but these are much, much more beautiful candidates than we have in the American presidential election. That's just me, but I may be biased. But I think we're having more fun. So, number 3 or a number 6, which is it going to be? You have just a few more seconds. Actually, I'm going to give you a little more time. Because we're not going to announce the winner until after I show you some of the new stuff. I know you want to see the new stuff, and we're going to make it a little bit more suspenseful. So, if Mr. Honey Producer, he's a little busy behind the scenes congregating with the accounting firm. It's not really an accounting firm. It's just a accounting firm. It's A's accounting firm. A's accounting firm. For now, it's only open for one day for this hour. That's it. It's back to me. Yes, because I got to show them stuff. So we're going to announce the winner of this election, Kira or Strippy Forest, right after these messages from GE Design. From GE Designs. Okay, so we got some new stuff in, and lots more to come. Very exciting. But I want to show you the mask panel first that I forgot at the headquarters last time on Friday. I talked about it, but I didn't show you. So I talked about how I am going to be a really good one this year. I'm going to be really good and have masks in every single Christmas gift that I send out. And how fun are these? So they have some children-sized, really fun ones, and then the adult size. So all you need is lining. You can put a filter in, but you can cut it out. But it even has the instructions for something very simple to put in the elastic, or you can use t-shirts, whatever you need. You can put pleats in it if you want to. You don't have to, but it's really, really easy. And how fun is this? You can have thank you on your mask. You can have a little big lips or zip it. So I just thought these were super fun. You can either just use those in back to back, so it's reversible. So you can do that, or you can put a lining and you can get a lot of masks out of just one panel. So these are really fun from Moda. I love this one. I think my face might be small enough to use that one. I think that would be kind of fun. So we have some of these left, and then we are actually getting Christmas ones. They are on the way, or hopefully coming soon, because I can see them being really fun as well. Okay, then we got 2 bundles in that, again, I'm going to apologize beforehand. And by the way, these two new bundles are not going to be live in the store until we go off air. So don't try and go find them now. But I wanted to apologize ahead of time. We didn't get a whole lot because these were ordered a long, long time ago. I've been waiting for them a long, long time. They're about 3 months overdue. At least one of them is. So that's how crazy this world of shipping fabric is. But this one is really, really pretty. It's called Thistle Patch, and it is by Clothworks. Beautiful colors, so purples and greens pretty much with a little bit of taupe thrown in there. This is kind of the main print. So there. And then it has all these beautiful purples that go with it. From all the shades, from the darkest purple, and that's what I love when a fabric line has different values. Lighter into the lavender, like this, and then we have the main print in the light background. Really pretty. And then into some of the taupes, so we can start with the lightest one here. The taupe. And so you have that hue difference, that value difference in the taupes as well, into the darkest one. So I really love that. And then we have the green. So we have the darkest green, the thistles, and then the multi-print, which this one I really love. So this is Thistle Patch. Like I said, I apologize ahead of time. We don't have a lot, but really pretty, fun, different type of colorway. And then the rest, the second one for tonight is called Cheers to You. And it is all about wine. So this one is by Canvas. And this one is the one I've been waiting for a long time. Check this out. For all of you wine lovers, this is just fun. So wanting to make a quilt, a table runner for somebody that is a wine enthusiast, this is so much fun. Even just like hot pads or masks even. We got the barrels with the different wine names on them. We got the grapes. And then we got this print, which I didn't really get it at first. It's kind of like a marble, but then I got it. When I saw the red, I got it because this is the wine, all the different hues in there. So this is like the white wines, like the grapes juice then after it's been pressed. So I'm a little slow sometimes. I didn't get it right away. So then we have the red, and we have the really dark Merlots. No, I don't know what they're called, the darkest ones. What are they called? Malbecs, probably. Beautiful grapes, and then this one is all the different wine labels. And of course, there needs to be corks. And then the wine labels in the monochromatic, like that. So this is Cheers to You for the winers. For the winers. I hope you're going to have a little glass of wine tonight or something. Cocktail to ease those nerves if you're going to be watching election results tonight. But that is the two new ones and the mass panel, and I'll show you more new stuff on Friday, but this is it. So should we start with our live winner? Let's do our live winner first before we announce the quilt winner. All right, our live winner is Sherry Dirksen. Congratulations, Sherry. Thank you for being with us live on this big night. And you have won a $25 gift card, so we will try and contact you. We'll hunt you down to get you that gift card. If you've seen this, just contact us through email or Facebook message. Email help@gequiltdesigns.com. Easy to find. All right, I think we're ready. Now we need the no, is that Rocky? I don't got my theme songs right. Kira is our winner. Well, somehow I'm not surprised. How many of you have made a Kira? Lots of you, I know that. And probably not your first and not your last. This one is really, really big. It's still on our bed. That's the one on our bed. And so I've made a couple of other ones. So that is another favorite of mine.
It was my favorite.
This was your favorite. Are you sure? Did you not influence the results at all?
I was the boss over there.
She's bossy, huh?
The people's choice.
The people's choice, yes, they did. It's a very fair election. So thank you all for taking part in our quilt election, our first ever quilt election 2020. And if we ever have an election again, we will have all the musical musings and stuff beforehand. And maybe you might be able to get to know the candidates a little bit more beforehand. Or not. Maybe it was just best this way. All right, so we are going to end it with a question, another chance to win. And this one was kind of fun. So I want to ask you this question. Have you, or your name in particular, ever been on a ballot? No matter what it is. Maybe it was for, the school president, or, student council, or maybe local government, or maybe a pageant. I don't know. Have you ever been on a ballot? Has your name ever been on a ballot? I don't remember mine being ever on one. So, I don't remember it. So I don't know. Maybe. I know I was like student council in like 6th grade or something, but that was, I don't know if we had ballots back then. Well, have you been on a ballot, Mr. Honey? Yeah? Oh, sorry. Homecoming King?
How could you forget?
Homecoming King. We're going to go back to that one?
No, I didn't say it. You did. You asked me.
Because I would have been chastised if I wouldn't have remembered. Okay, so you were on a ballot. Just that 1 year? Was it just 1 year?
It only takes one to win.
Oh, okay. All right. That's it. Well, that is it for us tonight. So I want to make sure that you all hear me. Next week, Tipsy Tuesday, will be November 10th, but we're going to be early. We're going to be 2 hours early because I have a lecture at 7, a lecture that I booked over a year ago. And I'm doing it virtual for a guild that is in my town. How crazy times we are in. But we're doing a virtual lecture at 7. So our show will be at 5 o'clock Central Time. 2 hours earlier than today. Next week, November 10th, I will make sure to include it in the newsletter to remind everybody and send you out a little reminder that we are going to be on at 5 p.m. Central Time just this next Tipsy Tuesday. All right. But of course, I will be here live Friday, this coming Friday, and that is going to be November 6th, 3 p.m. Central Time. Of course, cocktail in hand. I may have one tonight too, depending on how late we stay up, which is probably not that late. It's been a tough one. You know, it always is. That week after we turn the time, clock's back, it's tough. It's tough to stay up late. But I hope you have a safe evening, enjoyable evening, and I will see you this coming Friday and hopefully next week a couple hours early. Thank you for participating, and I'll see you next time.